Thank you to the guy in Canada who got in touch with his trick for lasting longer in bed. This works pretty well for me. When I'm getting close, I spell my name out. In my head, not out loud. Do it a few times. If your name is short, spell it out and then spell it backwards and repeat several times. Now he says this is enough distraction to take his mind off coming, but doesn't take his head right out of the game completely, and he can keep moving while he does it. So his arousal goes down and he lasts longer. Well, thank you for sharing, and very succinctly put. I say to guys, if you're going to try a distraction trick like this, and you might as well, there's nothing to lose, I have a couple of suggestions too to actually make this work for you. Spelling, counting, going forwards and backwards, it's a common thing to do to distract ourselves and to calm everything down a bit. Some guys use mental images and pictures. I remember when I was a teenager reading a music magazine and some rock star was giving some life advice. I think it might have been Liam or Noel Gallagher, someone like that. And he said to last longer in bed, he pictures a tap, a water faucet in his mind, and he turns that tap off tight. And I remember thinking as a very innocent 13-year-old, why is this necessary to last longer in bed? I don't get up until the afternoon sometimes, and it's easy. Some guys make themselves picture unsexy things, like their dear grandma or some other big turn-off. I'm not sure about this. It makes me feel a bit sorry for grandma, and it could just kill the mood completely. Or we can think of more detailed things, sports teams, game fixtures, or our work schedule. Again, that's possibly mental kryptonite for your erection. Another trick that kind of comes from the NLP world is stepping through something familiar, like mentally walking through your house or your workplace and passing familiar landmarks on the way that remind you to breathe or change position or whatever and slow everything down. Now that sounds like quite hard work to me, but some men do find these kind of NLP techniques, anchoring and things like that, helpful for lasting longer. And I might pick up on that in another video. But the top tip for whatever method you use here, don't leave it too late. Don't think that you can get really close to coming, feeling those initial tingles and sensations, and then start spelling out your name or turning off taps. It'll get messy. You will have a rubbish, distracted orgasm, or it just won't work. Do it earlier. Be more aware of your arousal and kind of meet it halfway. How do you know it's working? Well, maybe you can just tell, especially with a bit of practice, or you'll feel your erection subside. You'll get a bit softer. Now, some last longer sex gurus, they advise switching back and forth during sex. Do your counting or your distraction when you need to, and then carry on, and then switch back to thinking about the pleasurable sensations and your partner's body, so that then you can stay hard and you can thrust away. And then when that gets too much, you get back to distraction and you alternate like that. Now, there are whole self-help courses based on this switching method. And I get it in theory, but I can't help thinking it's hard work. Maybe it's worth a try. I do agree that there's nothing wrong with losing your erection a bit during sex, or at all, to be honest. That's natural. It's the ebb and flow of your arousal. And when you're confident that it'll come back, when you can trust your body, these fluctuations, they can actually help sex last longer. Now that's not so easy, I know, for guys with erection worries or some older guys maybe, and I know erection stress can contribute to premature ejaculation. There is good treatment for ED, so speak with your doctor about that. All of that said, here's why I don't think any of this occupy your mind stuff is really optimal in the long term. One, it takes you out of the moment. Deliberately, yes, but it takes you out of the pleasure too. And our partners can pick up on this. And I know a lot of guys will willingly sacrifice a bit of enjoyment for lasting longer and seeing their partner reach orgasm. And there's something to be said for that, but there is a better way in my opinion. Also, it's a lot of mental overhead, especially if we're doing the switching thing. And I think men can get a bit hooked up on these thinking rituals and systems, and it can even add to the pressure of performing. And it takes up mental resources that you could be using to be more spontaneous or creative during sex. So it can make you a bit robotic, perhaps. So one more bit of advice on this, and it might sound counterintuitive, I know. To last longer, focus on the sensations of the sex you're having. Focus on what it actually feels like in your body, how good it feels. Because for most guys, it's not the sensations that are propelling them towards orgasm. It's the worrying, the anxious self-talk. Oh no, it's happening again, I can't hold on, how can I keep going, etc. And then it's a stressful, self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's especially true when we leave it too late. So distract yourself from those thoughts by tuning right into the actual sensations in your body, in your penis. And see your partner, see their body, their lips, their breathing, the movement of their hips. Be deeper in the experience. Now, isn't this the opposite of everything I've just said? Well, not really. You know, it's still distraction from the feelings of pressure and the panic, and just soaking up sensations rather than trying to stuff your mind with non-sexual thoughts. Communicate with your partner too, and that's difficult when you're counting backwards in your head. And if you're getting too hot too quickly, let your partner know and just ease off. And that can be a compliment. It can be hot if you stay connected and you stimulate your partner in ways that they enjoy. Try these different approaches and see, but don't be afraid of focusing on the sensations of sex. Most men can learn to feel intense sexual pleasure and feel more in control at the same time. And that's my recommended approach. On my self-help course, I expand on this and I cover a zooming out technique so you can take in all the sensations and your partner, and you can stay calm and grounded during sex. Because when we're getting close to orgasm and ejaculation, the opposite happens. Our focus narrows right down on the sensations and it blocks out everything else just for those few precious seconds. Now we have some control over the onset of this, and it's really helpful to learn how to use it. So again, thanks for your input on this. Your feedback is always welcome. And distraction can certainly be useful, and hopefully this has given you some options to try out. Thank you for watching.